What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. And we already have some controversy going on here with the election here, multiple different things here for you guys here. So let's jump right in. Here we go. Yeah, here. So first up, Georgia has been ordered by courts to remain open after the polls close. 6 different precincts across Georgia have been ordered by courts to remain open past 7 p.m. Eastern Time, according to Gabrielle Sterling, Georgia's acting Deputy Secretary of State. Sterling said that 2 polling locations in Cobb County in Atlanta's northern suburb have been ordered to stay open until 7:45 p.m. 2 locations in DeKalb County in Atlanta have been ordered to stay open until 7:40 and 7:49. How they came up with that exact time, I have no idea. And 2 precincts in other counties will stay open shortly after 7 when the polls are scheduled to close. Sterling said that there are more than 2,600 poll locations in Georgia, and the hours were extended at these 6 locations because they opened late this morning. Yeah, you could see the headline here as well. With no evidence, Trump floats the possibility of mass voter fraud in the midterms. Former President Donald Trump, who has repeatedly and falsely alleged that there was mass voter fraud in the 2020 election, basically already suggests on social media here today that such fraud might already be happening in the 2022 midterms. He says, quote, "The same thing is happening with voter fraud as happened in 2020? Question mark, question mark, question marks." Yeah. Also here, you could see here right from the New York Times, Trump threatens to reveal unflattering information about Florida Governor Ron Desantis if Governor Ron DeSantis runs against him for president. So you can let me know your thoughts here. I guess Trump doesn't want anybody to run against him for on the Republican Party. So this is literally headline news here on the New York Times. Trump threatens to reveal unflattering information about DeSantis if he runs. And he does this on the day of the midterm elections. He said to Ron DeSantis, "Stay out of the race or else." And also says here, quote, "I would tell you things about him that won't be very flattering. I know more about him than anybody other than perhaps his wife," Trump said in an interview with Fox News Digital. Trump, who is a Florida resident, did say that he voted for DeSantis, though, for another term as governor. He would have had to vote for a Democrat as the other choice, so I don't think he would have done that, probably come hell nor high water, right? Trump's rhetoric is the most open threat he has made against DeSantis in recent weeks. At a rally in Pennsylvania over the weekend, Trump referred to DeSantis as Ron DeSanctimonious. Even my wife's laughing in the background. That nickname came less than a month after Trump called it a big mistake when DeSantis endorsed Colorado Republican Senate nominee Joe O'Dea, who had previously told CNN's Dana Bash that he would actively oppose the former president if he ran for the White House in 2024. DeSantis has raised $200 million for his re-election race and had $90 million left in the bank. Wow. And you could see the headline here. Most Republicans don't trust the election system. A red wave could change that. And this is because, according to some recent surveys and polls, 2/3 of Republicans think the last election was stolen. according to Mark Hetherington, a political science professor at University of North Carolina. Quote, and if they think the last election was stolen, how could they not have less faith in the electoral system? Yeah, so you got to kind of think about that. Are we in an era where if your party doesn't win, then we don't think that the election is right? Yeah, so like what do we do going forward here? I it's just like I don't know. Cuz remember that Trump, when he beat Hillary Clinton actually won the popular vote. I'll show you that here. As you can see here in the 2016 election, Trump actually had just under 63 million votes, about 46% of the vote. And Hillary Clinton had just under 66 million votes, 48%. Yet Trump was declared the winner in that election. And, Republicans were okay with that. Democrats were mostly okay with that, um, despite Democrats winning the popular vote. But in the 2020 election, the next election, we had a similar type of percentage here. The majority went to Democrats by a few percent. Um, but the Donald Trump wasn't able to pull it off that time with the Electoral College winning the right amount of states here. And so the question here is going forward is with this next election here, are people gonna just be okay with the results if their party doesn't win, whether it's Democrat Party or Republican Party or any specific state or any specific candidate? Because when you look at the results, I know they're separated here by millions of votes here on each one. The 2016 election was actually the closest here. That's only about 3 million votes here. It was actually very, very close. But how do we move forward? How do we get past this? Also, Republican chatter here. If Republicans take over the Senate, Rick Scott from Florida may be challenging Mitch McConnell for the leader of the Senate. Remember, Rick Scott's the guy who wants to have Congress approve Social Security and Medicare, Medicaid budgets every 5 years. And if they're not approved, then Social Security checks wouldn't go out. Just like Senator Ron Johnson, who's leading in polls by about 3%. He wants to have it be approved every year, Senator Ron Johnson. So Senator Rick Scott, who used to be Florida governor, wants to do it every 5 years. So he may be potentially challenging Mitch McConnell for leadership in the Senate if Republicans take over Senate when we get all the results in, which honestly might not even be tonight, might be all the way until tomorrow, to be honest, by the time we get all these details. Or we may go to runoff elections like we did last year, even. Now, some polls are actually closed in some areas of the country, actually, like Indiana and Kentucky, but they're going to have to count all these votes. And of course, we know other areas of the country on West Coast time going to take significant time they're still voting and actually go through a lot of these details. And according to exit polling, where they ask people after they vote, are they Republican or are they Democrat? Who do they vote for? And what are their most significant concerns? There's a significant difference in what their concerns were. A significant partisan divide in voters' priorities and attitudes this year. Nearly half of voters who supported a Republican House candidate called inflation their top issue, with fewer than 15% picking any other issue as their top priority. So Republicans basically, their number one priority is inflation and maybe the economy, and that's pretty much about it. Among voters who backed a Democratic candidate, 44% called abortion their top issue, with also women's choice, and those type of things, women being able to actually choose and not have the government choose for them, with 15% picking, or with 15% or fewer picking any other issue. Wow, so pretty significant there. Meanwhile, midterm voters were mostly opposed to the Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, according to preliminary national exit polls. Slightly fewer than 4 in 10 said they felt enthusiastic or satisfied about the decision, while about 21% said they felt dissatisfied, and roughly 4 in 10 said they were angry with the decision. So, well, there you go. So, about 61% of Americans said they were dissatisfied or straight up angry with the Supreme Court's decision. About 60% of all voters said that abortion should be legal in most or all cases, up from 51% who turned out for the 2020 general election, when it basically was legal and wasn't really on people's mind, and it wasn't really a big concern. So, yeah, you can see obviously now it's a big concern for a lot of people because these rights have been taken away, and now it's the government's deciding for a lot of people. So now people are actually like, hey, we need to address this one way or another. Also, we did see some technical delays and some long lines. You can see the headline here. Voters encountered long lines in Texas, Harris County, as technical issues caused delays at some locations. So, yeah, did you encounter long lines or technical delays anywhere you went? Let me know your thoughts here in the comments. Also, some more controversy here. Florida, Missouri tell the Justice Department to stay out, and you're not going to even be able to view what's going on here. Yeah, and Ron Desantis, Florida governor here, at the center of the controversy in Florida, says that federal monitors, basically just wanting to view what was going on there, would need local permission to observe activity inside the election sites. Yeah, the administration of Florida Republican Governor Ron Desantis has refused to allow the Justice Department election monitors to go inside polling locations in South Florida and just observe what was going on, saying in a letter that the federal government's involvement would be, quote, counterproductive and potentially undermine confidence in the election. Yeah, on Monday, the Justice Department announced that it would send federal monitors to 64 jurisdictions nationwide, up from 44 jurisdictions in 2020, to evaluate how the elections are being conducted amid a wave of threats to election workers and politicians and allegations of voter intimidation. Of these 64 counties, Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties were all slated to receive federal monitors from the Justice Department's Civil Rights Divisions. In 2020, some Florida localities were as well, but they remained outside because of the pandemic. I don't know how much they could observe outside, but nonetheless. The chief counsel for Florida Department of State said in a letter that those monitors would not even be allowed inside because of Florida law. Yeah, so I don't know, man. Let me know your thoughts here. Do you think that, does it sound like they're trying to hide something or not? Do you think that this is normal procedure, not normal procedure? Does it feel like, I don't know. I mean, it does seem a little odd. It does seem a little weird. But on the other hand, it is Florida law, so I don't know the history of when this law was passed. Like, I don't know if it was passed here in the last year or so. Maybe you do. Maybe you can comment down below in the comment section. But you know, I feel like it's one of those things. Like if they're monitoring the situation, especially like if they're government people, you know, I can understand like not just letting like hundreds of people in there to observe. You know, maybe it's too many people here, um, but like having a few people watch, record, make sure that things are on the up and up is probably a good thing. If you're just thinking about this from a realistic point of view, making sure that nothing fishy is going on, nothing that's not supposed to be happening, I would assume that all of these polling locations are recorded and things like this nowadays. You would just assume things like this. Of course, you know, every location's probably a little bit different. But nonetheless, this is kind of what's kind of going on here today. So you can let me know your thoughts here. um, yeah, it's just a little bit crazy. So we already have a lot of controversy going on here today. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think is going to happen when all the results come in? What do you think? Red wave, blue wave, mixed results, and then we'll see here. So let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I got a really good video here you should watch next that I did here. If you haven't yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below to our YouTube channel. It's completely free to do so. This way you won't miss out on new videos that come out here on our YouTube channel. Click the bell icon after you subscribe so you don't miss out. And thank you so much for liking these videos. And if you want to, click the share button down below and it'll copy the link so you can share these videos with your friends and family on Facebook or anything like that and kind of get the word out to our channel here. We're going to be starting some more kind of fun things here to give away some money here for Thanksgiving. So don't miss any videos here tomorrow. Yeah, starting tomorrow. So definitely make sure you're staying tuned here for that. So I'll keep you up to date here. Here's some videos you can watch next. Here's my newest video. And here is a video about checks going out here by Thanksgiving, some going out now to millions of Americans. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.